Question. I have studied both Western and Eastern medicine and currently work at a hospital in the United States. I see the contradictions in the expensive American medical system, and many citizens and the government are suffering due to the interconnected interests of insurance companies, pharmaceutical firms, and doctors. Before encountering Zhongbiop, right law, I believed that integrating Western and Eastern medicine would benefit patients and improve the healthcare system. But now, after studying Zhongbiop, I feel that a more fundamental form of treatment is necessary. Should I stop pursuing the integration of Western and Eastern medicine and instead follow the deeper healing approach through patient education mentioned in the lectures? Or is it still worth trying to combine Western and Eastern practices? I ask for your guidance, Master. Answer. Eastern medicine is correct, Western medicine is also correct, everything is correct. The issue does not lie in whether one method is right or wrong. The real problem is in the diagnosis. What should we begin with when diagnosing? We've studied the wrong things. We may have acquired technical skills, but we don't know how to use them properly. When diagnosing, we must start by facing the person, not the disease. When a patient comes, we should ask, why did this person become unwell? We need to study the basics. Becoming a patient means that you have lived your life wrongly. If your family lives wrongly, you may become a patient. If society is off track, even we can become patients. No one becomes ill from living correctly. Every illness stems from a fundamental error in life. Even if we help someone recover now, it is only a temporary fix. Whether it's through Western or Eastern medicine, or even religious healing, these are only stopgap measures. If someone's lifestyle is wrong and leads to illness, we must uncover and address the cause. Otherwise, the problem will return in a worse form. Illness doesn't just happen randomly. It's a process. According to the 3.7 law, our physical bodies are composed of 70% pure, positive genetic material and 30% impure, negative genetic material. When souls enter the body, this balance forms the physical body. If one lives wrongly, that 30% of impure genes begins to grow. Wrong habits feed the growth of these genes. As they reach 50%, the person still doesn't feel much. But when it reaches 70%, even a 1% increase causes real pain. Then they collapse. Though it may feel too late at that point, there's still an opportunity to recover. That's when people go to hospitals. But what hospitals do is provide only temporary relief. Doctors don't heal people, they treat diseases. And because of that, they can't help people change their way of living. This is why we say doctors are technicians. They are not yet people who deserve reverence. They are skilled technicians. This is their first stage. The same applies to practitioners of Eastern medicine. They are people with skill. But what they must learn now is the character of the patient. If you had proper foundational training, you'd learn about the patient's habits and behaviors. This is why it's important to do thorough questioning, dialogue, and interaction. If you study this for just 3 years, you begin to see patterns. Some are extremely stubborn, some criticize society a lot, others are self-righteous. These are negative traits. If you diligently study for just 3 years, you can grasp the basics. With 7 years of consistent practice, you become a mid-level dosa. In Korean terms, this is like a master's degree in the field. After 10 years of accurate study, you become a doctoral-level figure in social health science. You begin to understand the root causes of illness in people. People get sick because their way of life is wrong. You must live in accordance with your own spiritual mass. If you live with greed or blame others for your faults, or if your behavior doesn't match your essence, pain grows. The harmful habits you live with feed disease. If we organize this knowledge well, we can even create charts. People with this trait tend to suffer here, or this illness shows a 5-degree deviation from correct living. But such studies haven't been done. That's why we must treat people, not just diseases. Simple summary. Lecture 6774. 1. It's not about Western or Eastern medicine. Both Western and Eastern medicine are valid. The real issue is how we approach the patient, not which system is better. 2. Treat the person, not just the disease. When a patient comes, don't just look at the illness. Ask why the person became sick in the first place. Often it's due to how they've been living. 3. Illness doesn't happen by chance. Our bodies are made with 70% good genes and 30% bad ones. If we live the wrong way with bad habits and mindsets, those bad genes grow and cause illness. 4. Hospital treatments are only temporary. Medicine and surgery might fix symptoms temporarily, but unless the person changes their life, the sickness may return even worse. 5. True healing starts with life changes. We get sick because our way of living goes against our inner nature. Real healing means helping the person change their mindset, habits, and values. 6. A doctor is more than a technician. A good doctor doesn't just treat the disease. They observe, talk to, and study their patients. They try to understand the person behind the illness. 7. Real learning happens through experience. If a doctor works with patients deeply for 3, 7, or 10 years, they begin to see patterns, how personality traits link to certain illnesses. This leads to deeper knowledge about the true causes of disease. CHEON wrote the story based on the above articles. The window beside the diagnosis room. On the 5th floor of a small hospital on the outskirts of New York, there was a narrow window in the corner of the diagnostics room. Beside it often sat a quiet doctor, an Asian man named Dr. Do-Hyun Lee, trained in both Western and Eastern medicine. He had been practicing in the U.S. for over 15 years. Lately, however, his heart had grown heavy. The healthcare system felt increasingly burdensome, and patients seemed to suffer more with each passing day. Some couldn't afford treatment due to insurance issues. Others were forced to split their medication in half to make it last longer. And so he began asking himself, am I really healing people? Or just covering up symptoms for a while? That day, he was again by the window when a young girl entered the room. Hello, I'm Katie. My mom's been feeling really sick lately. Before she finished, a middle-aged woman in a wheelchair followed her in. Her face was pale and her eyes seemed dim, as if the light of life had long faded. Dr. Lee looked at her gently. Her chart read chronic indigestion, depression, arthritis. But he didn't look at the chart. He looked at the person. Mrs. Carter, what kinds of thoughts have you been having lately? Surprised by the question, she hesitated. Then she whispered, I keep wondering why I'm so sick. I feel like I've become a burden to my family. I'm sorry. Dr. Lee nodded slowly. Being sick is not your fault. It just means there are parts of your life we haven't taken care of yet. He made her a small offer. No medicine, no acupuncture, just weekly conversations. He asked her to speak about her life, her regrets, her fears, her forgotten joys. And he gave her 3 simple tasks. Say thank you to the mirror every morning. Say I love you to her daughter at least once a day. Give gratitude for her food before eating, even if she made it herself. 3 months passed. She walked into the room on her own. No wheelchair, no nurse, just quiet footsteps and a steady smile. Without saying a word, she reached out and held Dr. Lee's hand. Doctor, I think I understand why I got sick. Why? Because I spent so many years hating myself. In that moment, Dr. Lee realized something. This is true healing. Not treating diseases, but restoring people, transforming lives. After the visit, he sat once more by the window. Outside, the sun gently warmed the city. He opened the window and whispered to himself, diagnosis should begin not with the illness, but with the person. And in that moment, he was no longer just a doctor. He had become a healer.